police running all in and out the building. What the hell is going on?
Raiders versus the Browns. And this is the game plan. Hey, what's good? What's good? What's good, YouTube? What's good, Raider Nation? We are in the building, and we gotta talk about it. We about to, come up against, the Browns after, man, that game was. Forget about. We ain't gonna talk about that. We gotta talk about the Cleveland Browns coming into our house. They trying to get it done. We also trying to get it done. But hey, I got the game plan for it. And speaking of game plan, hey, look, I got to give y'all the Raider Twuan Brown Cracker salute. Remember, there is no Raider Twuan without the congregation. And there's no congregation without the Raider Nation. Salute to everybody out there. Yes, sir. Look, I'm so happy you guys came in. I'm going to give you guys a few keys to the game. Both sides of the ball. Well, not both sides of the ball. Both teams. I'm also going to be giving you all three sides of the ball. Okay? People fail to forget offense, defense, special teams, okay? And there's something actually key about one of the less spoken about sides of the ball. But before we get into that, I need to make sure you guys do this.
Fucking Stizan.
Twuan, hey Twuan, hit that like button. Why? Because I like you.
Yes, sir. Go ahead and hit that like button. Get it active. Get it popping. And don't forget to subscribe. Okay? Hit that subscribe button as we break down the game plan. And I usually got this. Okay. There we go. So we're going to look at the players to look out for. That's actually the first point. Players to watch out for. Very important. Now, in certain aspects, I'm going to have, some guys that I'm looking to step up. Specifically with the Raiders, there's some guys that are going to be taking over some roles. And we need to see if these guys actually step up and do the job, right? But before I talk about the Raiders, let's talk about the Cleveland Browns. Now, I got 3 players to look out for. Now, there is other guys out there but these ones really stick out to me, and that is Deshaun Watson. Okay, their quarterback. Now, is he the Deshaun Watson of old with the Texans, or is he a new different, or just a different Deshaun Watson? That's still up for review. You know what I'm saying? But in regards to Deshaun Watson, he has an arm. He's not afraid to throw the ball, but also you got to be mindful of his legs. He is a mobile quarterback, okay? And I'm definitely looking for him to be the Cleveland Brown version of Deshaun Watson. I think if we don't lock up certain things and aspects of the game, he might turn into the better Deshaun Watson is which was when he was with the Texans. So that's a guy that definitely I'm going to be keeping an eye out on. Seeing if we can capitalize on some things there with him. Is his arm as good as it used to be? Not really, but he still has an arm. He's still a vet. So, you know, if we don't take care of certain things, you know, you want to think that a veteran will pick you apart. And that might be the case if we don't execute certain things on the other end, right? The other person that I'm looking at is their linebacker, JOK. His last name is Owusu-Koramoah, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, I believe. He is one of those linebackers that actually has a lot of speed to his game. You know, he can go sideline to sideline because of his speed. And that might present certain problems for us. So definitely I'm going to be keeping an eye out on that. And I have some things in regards to that later on down the line of breaking down JOK. JOK was actually one of the guys in the draft that I was actually really looking at to see, you know, if he could be with us with the Raiders. I think I liked him coming out of college, and he's over with the Browns. So now we have to deal with that. The other person is player to look out for, to me, is their running backs. Okay? Their running backs. Now, could it be Ford? They have actually a few guys there in their running back room. And to be honest with you, you know, we haven't stopped the run well. So, you know, we don't need, again, the repeating trend of the running back situation just killing us and thrashing us, right? So those are three. There's a whole bunch of guys on their side. I'll just throw it out. Another one is number 99. Okay, number 99. Y'all know who that is, Myles Garrett. Okay, he's going to be looking to wreck some things. I know there was a situation where they were talking about he was possibly going to miss this game, but a report has came out and said that Myles Garrett will be playing. So that is another guy to look for in regards to the Browns. Now, I have for the Raiders a few names of players to look out for. First one, I'm just going to start it off, keep it real. Gardner Minshew. Okay. Gardner Minshew has not played his best game. Actually, he's in a situation where he has thrown more interceptions than games he's played. Let's see what happens this week. See if he turns that around. See if he actually gets it done. And I'm looking out for it. I'm looking for him to turn the season around, turn the game around, and ultimately get the job done. There's a reason why we brought him in. There was a reason why we designated and said that we wanted to start off fast with Gardner Minshew, and that was the best option according to this coaching staff for us to get a good start. And he has the opportunity to go 2-2 in their first 4 games. So, with that being said, I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye out on Gardner Minshew. Okay, Gardner Minshew. Another guy that I'm going to be looking at is Jacoby Myers. And the reason why I'm looking at Jacoby Myers is because Devontae Adams will be out. So Jacoby Myers will be assuming the number 1 role. Now, I've been saying this about Jacoby Myers, and one of the positives about this offense is that Jacoby Myers, in my opinion, he's a number 1. You know what I'm saying? He's a number 1 wide receiver. He just happens to be a number 2 here because obviously DA is our number 1. But with that being said, he's going to have to step up into that number 1 role. And to be honest with you, if he just continues to do what he's been doing as of late, I think we'll be fine. Because one thing with Jacoby Myers is that he's a consistent wide receiver. If there's any wide receiver that I wouldn't have doubts about, it's that guy. He's been very consistent for our team. You know what I'm saying? And I just want him to continue that, fulfilling the role of the number 1 wide receiver. I am also looking at our linebacking group, specifically Robert Spillane. I think Robert Spillane is going to have to definitely be that force to fill the gap in the run game. Unfortunately, I'm not really relying on these other linebackers we have. Luke Masterson. I do like Gainer, but it's up to, this coaching staff to see, if he gets some snaps and playing time. I'm also, I think that's a very vital piece. I know that Divine Diablo is out. So the backup linebackers are definitely going to have to do their bidding on stopping the run, because if the Browns can run the ball all day, they will try to do that. Now, another guy that I'm looking at, and we've seen, but now he's stepping up into a real prominent role, is Isaiah Palamau. Okay, Isaiah Palamau. He's usually the 3rd safety coming out. Sometimes Patrick Graham does have a 3 safety look, and Palamau's out there with Merrick and Epps. But now Epps is out. Isaiah Palamau is going to step up into that. And then Chris Smith is who I believe is going to be that 3rd safety getting into action. Now, my personal opinion in regards to Chris Smith is I think he plays safety well. You know what I'm saying? He's still young. He's still growing. There's a few times where, you can tell that his eyes are not fully where they need to be. But ultimately he's growing and grooming into a quality type of safety. Even in his rookie years, which I call cheap labor, because of the contracts being cheap. But yeah. So Isaiah Palamau, then an honorable mention for me would be looking at Chris Smith and how that shakes out. And those are my guys that I have. I can add more on the offensive side. I will say JPJ, I just want to see him consistent. What I saw from him last week when he did get playing time, he was on it. You know what I'm saying? He was doing his job. I think he had one snap that really wasn't like great, but it wasn't like a horrible snap either. But everything else, he was taking care of his business. So going into this situation where one strong suit that the Browns do have is their D-line. So let's see how that matches up for JPJ. Coach Antonio Pierce has said that he will be getting some snaps. I don't know if it will be in a starter position, but we will see JPJ on Sunday. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure you guys hit that like button. And if you have not, go ahead and subscribe. I am going on to our next segment of the game plan, and that is the defense. The defense. Okay? And I got a few points on defense that we need to lock up. We need to secure in hopes of winning the game, right? Certain things are really based on execution and how we go about it. And again, these are the things that I feel like if we execute these things, I believe we'll be riding out with a dub. So my first point defensively is stop the run. Now, I say this almost every week, and the reason why I say it almost every week is because we haven't really did well at stopping the run, and it really has to start with stopping the run. If you stop the run, you know what I'm saying, then you start limiting the opposing offense. And it's going to be tougher again because Max Crosby's out on that D-line, you know what I'm saying? So there's going to be some guys that are going to have to step up and get that job done. You know, Tyree Wilson is definitely going to have to be one of those guys to lock that down and settle that the opposing running game. And again, if you stop the run, then you can start doing other things defensively, but it all starts with stopping the run. My next point on defense is be disruptive up front. Now, the reason why I'm saying be disruptive up front is because the Cleveland Browns offensive line has not been its best, okay? So we need to capitalize on those things. Teams have had multiple 5-6 sacks a game against, you know what I'm saying, the Cleveland Browns, and we need to follow that up with the same effort, okay? We need to be disruptive up front. We need to rattle as much as we can. Deshaun Watson, you know, again, like I said, he's a vet. And because he's a vet, if we give him a clean pocket, he should be able to pick us apart. And that's just with anybody. Any pro veteran quarterback, if they have a clean pocket, they should be able to pick the opposing team apart. So being disruptive up front will, you know, get Deshaun Watson in his head, maybe rush a couple of his throws, you know, miss error, you know, and all of that, right? And it all starts with being disruptive up front. It's going to be on Christian Wilkins. It's going to be on Adam Butler, Nestor J. Silvera, you know what I'm saying? Charles Snowden. These are the guys that we're going to be really leaning on, you know what I'm saying? Tyree Wilson in his capacity, you know, to really lean on to put pressure on Deshaun Watson. He does not need to be sitting in the pocket like we had last week with Andy Dalton. That is not a key to success, is allowing the opposing quarterback to sit in the pocket and just think about where he wants to throw the ball. So that's why it's important for us defensively to be disruptive up front. Now, another thing that I'm going to add in regards to the D-line is, along with being disruptive up front, we got to be gap disciplined, okay? Got to be gap disciplined. And the reason why I'm saying we got to be gap disciplined is because of the quarterback. Like I said earlier, Deshaun Watson can throw the ball, but he's also mobile. And now if you give him gaps, he will leak out the gap and take off, okay? So you have to be controlled, you know what I'm saying, and contained along with being disruptive up front. Yes, it is possible. Some people say, oh, how can you be disruptive up front and also be gap disciplined? Yeah, you can. You just got to be selective on which way you're rushing. Now, there's situations before where like the outside D lineman may rush outside, you know what I'm saying, and then he leaves the gap between his guard and the tackle, and then there goes the quarterback leaking out the pocket, first down, and maybe even more in certain situations, depending on if we're playing zone behind it or if we're playing man. If we're playing man, you're probably going to get more yards. If it's zone, probably a little less, but still, we don't need the quarterback leaking out of the pocket and gaining his own yards, okay? So definitely we got to be disruptive up front, but also we have to be gap disciplined in this game, okay? If we don't be gap disciplined, okay, we might see Deshaun Watson of Texans, okay? And I'm just going to say right now, I'm not looking forward to that. So let's stay on top of that. Another thing defensively is communicate on the back end. And the reason why I'm saying this is because we got some new faces that are going to be in control of communicating on that back end. Now, I'm going to be leaning on Trayvon Merritt to be a little more vocal, you know what I'm saying, in regards to the back end, because he's actually been the starter since, week 1. But Palomar is back there also, right? And because Palomar is back there also, he's going to have to be in communication with Merrick and the rest of the safeties and everybody else on the field as to what needs to be done. So there isn't blown coverages where, someone's left open, deep down the field. We've actually been pretty good for the most part of, not really getting the ball completely thrown over our heads. But we need to continue to do that. And, Marcus Epps has been a vital piece in that form of communication defensively. So it's going to be important even more this week that we communicate on the back end. Okay? And as always, I say all the time, offense and defense, we got to capitalize on turnovers. Now, have we really got many turnovers? Not really, but when we do, we got to capitalize on them. Okay? Got to put up 7 after we intercept it or get a fumble. Okay? Got to do it. Shout out to everybody. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe. Yes, sir. We're almost getting to, actually, this is about halftime. Halftime. All right. And we got to talk about that offense. Okay. The offense. That's important because, to be honest with you, and we've been watching the game, our offense hasn't been its best. And it's going to be important for us to get that going. Okay? Get that going. And how can we get that going without being too bullish, right? Is doing this. As I find it. It's right there. Run, homie, run. Now, when I say this, I'm not saying we got to run all the time. You know what I'm saying? Don't, force your way trying to run the ball. If it's not working, go try something else, okay? Gotta make sure we do that, okay? So run, homie, run. Now, in this situation, like I said, their D-line is stout. For the most part, most of the guys that are on that D-line are good, talented guys. along with their linebacker that I said and I highlighted is a JOK. So in this situation, what I think we should do is the outsides. Okay. It's okay for you to test the middle of the of their D line. See if that works. See maybe if JPJ or whoever can open up a hole for our running back. You know what I'm saying? But if that doesn't work, start making those adjustments and testing the outside. Okay. But I think we're really going to have to lean on trying to see what's going to happen with this run game before we go to the next part and the next point that I have, and that is use the quick pass. Okay? And the reason why I'm saying use the quick pass is for what I said earlier in regards to their D line. You know what I'm saying? How can you limit Myles Garrett, right? Getting out the ball before he can really get his pass rush going, right? If you get the ball out before he can get there, he's not effective. So definitely hit some slants, hit some, some quick passing game. And then that also will help out our offensive line where they're not blocking so long, right? That's the important part of the game, right? You hit the quick passing. Now they're paying attention to that. Maybe you can hit a couple of runs, maybe even a sweep dump off, you know what I'm saying, to a running back and let him, you know what I'm saying, take it up the sideline. Those are the options that you have in the quick passing game. I think in this situation, trying to hold the ball, a long amount of time and trying to, hit the long pass. Now, if it's there, hit it, but that shouldn't be what we're relying on in this game. I think, again, using the quick pass will almost not eliminate, but kind of have them at a stalemate in regards to the deficiencies that we have on our offensive line versus the talents that they have on their defensive line. Okay. My next point is, and I said it earlier, but I'm going to say it again, attack the outside. Okay. It's going to be a long run for a Owusu Koromoto to make a play if we're running on the outside. Also, looking at the film, their corners, when they're blocked, it seems like they have a hard time fighting through the initial blocks of the wide receivers. So when you're running something outside and you're not using the wide receivers are now your blockers, right? Say we're going to dump it off to the running back coming out of the backfield, right? The wide receivers are blocking the cornerbacks, and what I've noticed that when the wide receivers are blocking the corners, they do a good job to the point where they're not fighting those blocks. So attacking the outside is advantageous for us to move forward and beneficial for us to definitely take a look at in this game. Now, we talked about the defense, we talked about the offense, and now it's time to talk about the coaching, dog. All right? We talking about the coaching. Okay? There are certain things in regard to coaching. I think everybody from last week has learned a lesson. And it's going to be interesting to see how they adjust and make those proper adjustments to the game. And coaching-wise, it's exactly that. Make the proper adjustments. Now, the proper adjustments could be in a situation where it could be in a situation where they're changing personnel. Maybe not necessarily the game, not necessarily the calls, the plays that they're calling, but personnel wise. Now, if we need to add some speed on the offensive side, that's when you can use your Trey Tucker. That's when you can use your DJ Turner, who I believe is also going to get a lot of action this game because Devontae Adams is going to be out. So that's where you can get your speed, make those adjustments, use them on the outside, give them a sweep, give them a reverse, get them active and moving and challenging certain things, like I said, that definitely are worth looking at and exploring in regards to the offense. Now, defensively, there's going to be some things that they're going to have to do. I don't know, what the game plan is in regards to the linebackers, if they're just going to roll with Spillane and Masterson the whole time, or if they're actually going to, sprinkle in some of these other guys at linebacker in regards to the matchup, right? Who's the better matchup to guard the tight end? Who's the better guard? Who's the better linebacker to stop the run? Eichenberg is also in that category, right? Eichenberg is a guy that's going to be coming off the bench, for Luke Masterson or whoever in regards to certain situations. Now, it's going to be key for the coaching staff to plug them in regards to what's going to benefit the Raiders, right? What is it really going to, how is it going to really work and benefit the Raiders linebacker wise? Okay. Because I think in regards to the our linebackers, they're all good at something, but then they also have some deficiencies. So now it's going to be important to the coaching staff to make those adjustments, like I said, for us to kind of mask those things, right? And still get the job done. And as I move to my last and final point, it is my final thoughts. Now, one thing that I'm really looking at and really noticing is a trend, and I hope we can turn that around, is that we lose to the teams that we're supposed to beat, and we beat the teams we're supposed to lose to. Now, this is a situation on paper, we're supposed to beat them. And I said this, last week, and I'm going to say it again because I think the team last week is similar to this team that we're facing on Sunday. Now, if we, and I'll say the same, if we sleep and we want to go to sleep, they'll put us to bed. Okay, I'm going to say it again. If we want to go to sleep, they'll put us to bed. And I hope that's not going to be the case. I'm leaning towards it not being the case because how bad and embarrassing our last week's loss was. Hopefully their antennas are up and they're ready to go and they're prepared. This coaching staff is ready to make the adjustments, make the business moves, business decisions, and come out with a dub. This is a winnable game. I'm going to say it again. This is a winnable game. But if they come in slow, you might as well, kind of prepare yourself for a blanket and a pillow. Okay? Because even though the Browns are not really a complete best team right now, they got players over there that ain't no slouches either. Okay? And as much as we're trying to turn things around here with the Raiders, they're also trying to do the same. So, it's really up to the guys on how they want to navigate this game. If they want to communicate on the back end, if they want to be disruptive up front, if they want to be gap disciplined, if if they want to attack in all areas of the run game, test the inside, but if it ain't working, see what's going on the outside. Get these wide receivers active. And when I mean active, wide receivers active, I'm talking about maybe a little more of Tucker. Not necessarily always going down for the deep pass, but let's see him doing something, cutting across the field in short yardage and let him get the yards after catch. Or DJ Turner, pitch it off to him and see what he can do with his speed. It's really going to be important for us to do that in this game to get back to 500. Okay, this is an opportunity for us to get back to 2-2 in the first 4 games. I know Coach Antonio Pierce has said that he'll be making an adjustment after this game, an assessment, but they first got to take care of what's ahead of them, and that's on Sunday. So let me know down in the comment section what players you think we need to look out for. Okay, who you think we got to take care of on defense? What points? What's your Raider gospel on that? Let me know what you want to see out of our offense and even our coaching staff. Okay? And yeah. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Why? Because I like you. All right? Hit that like button and subscribe. I was going to pull that up, but now I'm not going to do it. All right. So, with that being said, remember, you're a blessing. Actually, let me do this one.
Fucking Stizan.
Twuan, hit that like button. Why? Because I like you.
That's right. Also remember, you're a blessing. Be a blessing to someone else. And let's go, Raiders.
What up, Flo?
Today is a day when our heroes of the past become our legends of the future. Time never really stops for the great ones. We wrap them in a cloak of immortality and remember what great people they were. We recognize you, Virginia Matt, his sons Mike and Joey. They were a football family, so that John could pursue his dreams. Richard on the road, and a tribute to John Madden and Al Davis. We declare that the fire that burns the brightest in the Raiders organization is the will to win. Ladies and gentlemen, the Madden family.